we can classify or order costs based on their nature, or where in the business or in which process did the cost originate. So I want you to picture our company making tables. Here we've got all the costs listed that we spent during the first month of this business. And let's assume we made one table. So we were off to a slow start, but we made one table. Now, what did it cost us to make this table? Or which of these costs do we take into account to calculate the cost of this first table? So do we take all of the costs into account or not? So the next question then is, which of these costs were necessary to manufacture this first table? Did we need all of these costs? So let's have a closer look. So we needed material, otherwise we wouldn't have been able to put the table together. So that's our wood and our nails and our glue. We needed John to put the tables together. Without him, we would have just had the raw materials lying around. Then we needed a space to work, so the shed, that was necessary to make the tables. And we had to clean the shed, otherwise we would have not been able to work there. And then finally, we required electricity to power the power tools and lights to see what we are doing. So all of these costs are necessary to make the table. These last two, the Facebook ad and the cell phone contract, that was not necessary to manufacture the table. We might need it to sell the table or to find buyers for the table, but without these costs, we would have been able to at least make the table to get it in its final form. So classification by nature splits the costs between manufacturing costs, or costs which are directly part of the manufacturing process or necessary to make the product, and then everything else that's non-manufacturing costs. That's like our selling expenses or marketing, administration, like if we had an accountant that we needed, or office space that we had to rent. That's part of administration expenses. And then we can zoom into the manufacturing costs. So if we only look at manufacturing costs, and we'll be doing that a lot in management accounting, we can split that into 3 cost elements. And you'll see these 3 cost elements right throughout your studies of management accounting. So it's important to identify them now, and then whenever you see them, you are comfortable or you are familiar with these 3 cost elements. Now the first is direct material. That's our wood. So anything that can directly be traced to the cost object, so direct material. Our nails and our glue are indirect materials. So indirect materials are part of manufacturing overheads, because it's not easy or practical to allocate them directly to the cost object. It's difficult to know exactly the amount of glue we used on each table. So we group it into our overheads or manufacturing overheads. And then we have direct labor. That's John's time spent on the table. So he keeps track of his time and we pay him per table that he makes. So any indirect labor, that's like our cleaning, that is also part of our manufacturing overheads. We can't trace the cleaning companies or the cost that we pay the cleaner. We can't trace it directly to each individual table, so we group it into manufacturing overheads. So we can see the 3 cost elements, that's our manufacturing costs. The 3 cost elements consist of direct material, direct labor, and basically then everything else is or falls under manufacturing overheads. So I'll write overheads there. And then finally, we can just then group the 3 elements in different ways. So the first one is we can group the direct material and direct labor together, and that we call prime costs. And then we can take anything that is required to convert the direct material into the final product. So our conversion costs. That is our direct labor and all of our overheads. So without that, we can't change or convert the direct materials into our final product.